When Xiao Yan saw Yun Yun again, he discovered that she was about to get married once more. Continuing from the previous chapter, deep within the Tianfu mountain range lay the Xiao territory, a vast land specially developed for the expansion of the Xiao clan. At this moment, this valley had attracted countless experts from the surrounding regions. Although they were affiliated with the Tianfu alliance and were not considered outsiders to the Xiao clan, they still only lingered at the outskirts. Within a radius of several hundred miles inside the valley, no one dared to approach casually, because two earth-shaking battles were taking place there. On one side was Lei Mo, one of the most outstanding youths of the Lei clan, fighting against Shaolin, the son of the legendary Flame Emperor Xiao Yan. On the other side, Yan Lian, a top genius of the Yan clan, joined forces with Zhu Yan, the future star of the Taishu ancient dragon tribe, to battle Xiao Xiao, the daughter of the Flame Emperor. In mid-air above the valley, 7 luminous seats were arranged in a row. At the far left of the radiant seats sat Xiao Chen, the great elder of the Xiao clan. His presence alone carried a weight that seemed to press upon the very air. Once he had merely been a 5-star Dou Sheng, an existence already standing at the peak of the Dou Qi continent. But when Xiao Yan ascended to Dodi and awakened the dormant bloodline within the Xiao clan, Xiao Chen's strength surged, dramatically leaping across realms in a way few could ever imagine. From 5-star to 7-star Dou Sheng in a single bound. And that was only the beginning. With decades of relentless cultivation, coupled with Xiao Yan's personal guidance and assistance, his foundation had been tempered to perfection. Now, he stood firmly at the early stage of 9-star Dou Sheng, just one step away from the absolute summit beneath Dao Di. A being like him could overturn mountains and seas with a mere gesture. Seated beside Xiao Chen was the ancestor of the Pill Tower, his aged figure calm and composed, yet exuding a profound and unfathomable aura like a silent ocean hiding endless depths. Following them, seated in order, were the true overlords of the continent. Lei Shutian, the imposing great elder of the Lei clan, his body faintly crackling with restrained lightning. Zhu Li, the dignified great elder of the Taishu ancient dragon tribe, whose mere presence carried the faint pressure of ancient dragon might. Yao Chen, the current leader of the Tianfu alliance, his expression gentle, yet his eyes sharp enough to see through all things. Yan Huang, the great elder of the Yan clan, a faint smile always playing on his lips as if hiding countless thoughts. And finally, Xiao Zhan, the current clan leader of the Xiao clan, whose calm demeanor concealed a will as firm as iron. 7 figures, 7 pillars of the Dou Qi continent. Each of them possessed the power to shake the world, to dominate regions, to decide the rise and fall of entire factions with a single word. And yet, today they had all gathered here, not for war, not for alliance, but for a single purpose, to witness the clash of the younger generation unfolding in the valley below. A faint chuckle broke the silence. Heh heh. Palace Master Yao Yan Huang said, his tone light yet probing. Have you heard the rumors spreading outside recently? His eyes flickered with a hint of amusement, but beneath it lay something far more subtle. Yao Chen did not even turn his head. His expression remained calm, almost indifferent, as though such matters were not worth his attention. They are nothing but baseless rumors, he replied evenly. Idle talk born from ignorance. His voice was gentle, yet carried an unquestionable firmness. The Tianfu alliance and the Zhao clan, we have no reason to take them to heart. Though his words were simple, everyone present understood what lay beneath them. The so-called rumors were none other than whispers surrounding the fate of the Flame Emperor, the mystery of those who had broken through the void. Uncertainty, speculation, doubt, but to Yao Chen, none of it mattered. Because he knew, once Xiao Yan returned, all rumors would collapse like sand before a storm. And yet, not everyone shared that certainty. The air grew slightly heavier, as if an unspoken tension lingered beneath the calm surface. He knew clearly that Yan Huang was referring to the rumors about the mystery of the Flame Emperor. Once Xiao Yan returned, all rumors would naturally collapse. But who knows if they can even return? Lei Zutian sighed. In ancient times, so many Dodi left the Doqi continent, not a single one ever came back, did they? I believe Xiao Yan will return, Xiao Yan suddenly spoke. As his father, his intuition told him that Xiao Yan and the others were not in danger. Perhaps in a few decades, Xiao Yan would establish a great domain beyond this world, and they, as elders, could share in that glory. Let's focus on the younger generation, Julie said, shifting the topic toward the valley. That child Lei Mo is quite strange. This isn't the first time he's challenged Xiao Lin. Previously, his grandfather, the clan leader, always stopped him. Now that the clan leader is in seclusion, he ran out immediately, Lei Zhutian said. Yan Huang was slightly surprised. The Lei clan leader is also in seclusion. Our Yan clan leader has also recently entered closed-door cultivation, he added. Then he turned to Julie. I've heard that clan leader Yan has also been absent these past 2 years due to important matters. Julie smiled. Both of your clan leaders are the same as ours. They are all in seclusion. I believe she is attempting to break through to that realm. The expressions of Yan Huang and Lei Shutian changed. They immediately understood the implications. If the clan leader of the Taishu ancient dragon tribe were to successfully break through to the Dodi realm before the others, then, in the absence of the Flame Emperor's return, the balance of power across the Doqi continent would be completely overturned. The Tianfu Alliance, the Gu clan, even these towering forces would be suppressed beneath the overwhelming might of the Taishu ancient dragon tribe. And at that point, there would be no doubt. The Taishu ancient dragon tribe would ascend to the pinnacle, standing as the undisputed #1 power of the entire continent. Yet what they did not know was that their own clan leaders were also walking that same perilous path. Each of them, in their own hidden seclusion, was attempting to break through the final barrier to step into the legendary realm of Dodi. A silent race had already begun. No one knew who would succeed. No one knew who would take that final step first. Only time would reveal the answer, far away from their thoughts, on a vast land stained crimson and black, as if it had been scorched by countless battles. A colossal purple-gold dragon stretched across the heavens. Its body spanned 10,000 zhang each scale, shimmering like forged divine metal, radiating an ancient and tyrannical aura that made even the sky tremble. The clouds parted before it. The wind itself seemed to bow. Standing atop the dragon's massive back was a woman with a striking fiery figure. Her curves were sharp, her presence bold like a flame that refused to be extinguished. Her eyes burned with battle intent, and before them stood a young woman in a simple light-colored dress. She did not emit any overwhelming aura. She did not make any grand display. Yet she stood there as if the entire world revolved around her. She was Xiao Xiao, the daughter of the Flame Emperor, a name that alone was enough to shake the Duqi continent. The purple-gold dragon roared softly, its massive form shrinking and twisting, until it transformed into a young girl clad in a flowing purple-gold robe. This was Zhu Yan, princess of the Taishu ancient dragon tribe. Her strength had already reached the late stage of 7-star Dao Sheng, a level that placed her among the absolute elites of her generation. Beside her stood Yan Lian. Her fiery temperament matched her appearance, and her cultivation had also stepped into the realm of 7-star Dao Sheng. Individually, they were already terrifying. Together, their combined strength was enough to rival an 8-star Du Sheng. And yet, despite joining forces, despite unleashing technique after technique, despite pushing their Do Qi to its very limits, they had failed to even graze Xiao Xiao. Not a single scratch, not the slightest injury. What was even more shocking was that Xiao Xiao had not made a move, not once. From beginning to end, she had simply stood there, calm, composed, untouchable, as if everything before her was nothing more than a meaningless struggle. Zhu Yan slowly exhaled. Her massive dragon form had already vanished, replaced by the figure of a young girl. Her purple-gold robes fluttered gently in the wind, and her delicate face bore a striking resemblance to Yan. Yet at this moment her expression was far from calm. A faint shadow lingered in her eyes, because deep down, She understood one thing with absolute clarity. The gap between them was far greater than she had imagined. Her eyes were dim. Even with the Dragon Slayer sword, which made her nearly invincible below 8-star Dao Sheng, she still could not shake Xiao Xiao in the slightest. The gap between them was simply too great. Were they destined to lose again today? At that moment, a powerful heartbeat echoed within Zhu Yan's heart. As it accelerated, a thunderous roar suddenly erupted from the distant sky. An overwhelming aura surpassing heaven and earth itself spread across the entire Doqi continent at terrifying speed. In an instant, the heavens and earth changed color. What happened? Even Yao Chen and the others in the valley were alarmed. They felt that oppressive fluctuation and immediately turned their gaze toward the edge of the Doqi continent, the source of that supreme aura. That place was the territory of the Taishu ancient dragon tribe. As their gazes converged in the distant sky, a tide of purple-gold light surged forth, carrying boundless dragon might. Within a few breaths, it covered half the sky of the continent. The elders of the Yan and Lei clans were shocked while Zhu Li was filled with joy. He knew their clan leader had taken that crucial step. Many older experts watching the phenomenon were reminded of decades ago, when the Dodi of the Hun clan and Xiao clan appeared. The heavens changing divine light, illuminating the world, a new emperor had been born. At the same time, Xiao Xiao locked her sharp gaze onto Zhu Yan. A tidal force surged within Zhu Yan's body. Her aura skyrocketed. In an instant, she broke through to 8-star Dao Sheng. And it did not stop. After a dozen breaths, she had surpassed the peak of 8-star Du Sheng, stepping into early 9-star Dao Sheng, just one step away from the mid-stage. Meanwhile, in the western central plains of the Doqi continent, deep within the Flower Sect's forest, a woman paid no attention to the world's upheaval, because the man before her was her entire world. She was Yun, current sect leader of the Flower Sect, and standing before her was Xiao Yan, the Flame Emperor, a name that had once shaken the entire Doqi continent, yet a man who had not appeared for many years. For a moment, time itself seemed to stand still. The wind through the flower forest quieted, petals drifting slowly through the air as if even nature did not dare disturb this reunion. "You're back." Yun's voice was soft, yet it carried an unmistakable tremor of emotion. Surprise, relief, disbelief, all of it intertwined within those simple words. His return was far too sudden. So sudden that she had no time to prepare, no time to steady the countless thoughts rising in her heart. Xiao Yan smiled faintly, that same familiar smile unchanged, despite the passing of years and the height he had reached. "I remember," he said gently, "I once invited you to meet in the magical beast mountain range." His gaze lingered on her for a brief moment. "But you didn't come." Yun lowered her eyes slightly. The past something neither of them could truly let go of. "Did you think," Xiao Yan continued, his tone calm, yet carrying a subtle weight, "that just because I now stand above everyone, I would forget old acquaintances?" "No." Yun's reply was almost a whisper. She shook her head lightly. To her, that had never been the reason. A faint breeze brushed past. She bit her lip gently, hesitation flickering across her eyes. There were things she had wanted to say for a long time. Yet now that he stood before her, the words felt heavier than ever. "There's something," she began softly, "you probably don't know." "I know." Xiao Yan's answer came without pause. His voice was calm, too calm. "You're getting married." The words fell like a stone into still water, sending ripples through the quiet atmosphere. After Xiao Yan and the others, the 5 emperors had broken through the void. Do you know who else stepped into the realm of Dodi? It turned out, Ziyan was not the only one. Returning to the present, "I know. You're getting married." The moment Yun spoke, Xiao Yan had already answered. As the one who controlled the very core of the Doqi continent, he was aware of everything that occurred within this world. Nothing could escape his perception, not even her. Yet Yun showed no sign of surprise. Instead, a faint smile appeared on her lips. It was gentle, yet carried something deeper beneath it. Then, she said softly, tilting her head slightly. Aren't you planning to give me a gift? I am. Xiao Yan's response was immediate. But that gift can only be given to you in a week. He paused for a brief moment, his eyes meeting hers. Can you wait? I'll wait. There was no hesitation. No doubt. Yun answered directly, as if the decision had already been made long ago. For a fleeting moment, silence lingered between them. Unspoken emotions hung in the air like threads neither dared to touch. Master! Suddenly, an urgent voice shattered the stillness of the flower forest. It came from outside, rapid and breathless, accompanied by the sharp sound of someone cutting through the air at high speed. The fragile calm between them was broken. With the sound of breaking through the air, a familiar, tactless figure rushed into Yun's sight. It was Nalan Yanran. Master, look at this change in the heavens. Someone must have advanced. She flew to Yun's side, but her words abruptly stopped when she saw Xiao Yan ahead. The flower forest fell into silence. Nalan Yanran stood there in shock. After a few breaths, she came back to her senses and was about to speak, but Xiao Yan had already disappeared. Master, was that really Xiao Yan just now? She asked in disbelief. Yes, Yun replied softly. He has returned. I think. The Du-Chi continent is about to undergo another great change. At the same time, in the vast valley within the Xiao clan territory in the eastern central plains, a surging aura spread at an astonishing speed. Juyan's strength had risen to the peak of early 9-star Dao Sheng. Feeling the terrifying power within her, she murmured, Big sister has truly advanced to Dodi. She then turned to Yan and said, Let me face Xiao Xiao alone. Congratulations, Xiao Xiao smiled faintly. It seems the Du-Chi continent is about to gain another Dodi. Facing Juyan, whose strength had surged, Xiao Xiao instead spoke calmly. Are you sure you don't want to stabilize this power first? If you're careless, it might go out of control and harm you. There was a reason for Xiao Xiao's words. When Xiao Yan broke through to Dodi, her own strength had jumped from Dao Zong directly to 8-star Dao Sheng. Such a leap was unimaginable. Yet over the next decade, this overwhelming power caused her great trouble, because it was nearly uncontrollable. It took her almost 10 years to fully tame and master it. Just as she stabilized her 8-star Du Sheng cultivation, Kailin's breakthrough pushed her further into mid-stage 9-star Dao Sheng. After that, she spent another 4 years stabilizing her power. In truth, she had only spent about 10 years actually cultivating. No need, Zhu Yan said. If I do that, I'll lose my chance to defeat you. To Xiao Xiao's surprise, Zhu Yan had no intention of stabilizing her power. She allowed the energy within her to surge wildly. Because of her dragon physique, her powerful body could withstand it without exploding. Another reason was, she knew Xiao Xiao might already be at the peak of 9-star Dao Sheng, only one step away from Dodi. Even with the bloodline power triggered by Ziyan's breakthrough and the support of the Dragon Slayer sword, she could at best contend with a mid-stage 9-star Dao Sheng. That meant she was still not Xiao Xiao's match. However, the power within Zhu Yan was now extremely violent. In this all-or-nothing state, if she went all out, she could temporarily display the strength of a late-stage 9-star Du Sheng. But the price was losing this newly gained power entirely. Once exhausted, even after recovery, she would only return to the peak of 7-star Dao Sheng. This meant the power boost from Ziyan's breakthrough to Dodi would be consumed in one go. Seeing Zhu Yan willing to sacrifice everything just to defeat her, Xiao Xiao was slightly stunned. Then she sighed helplessly. Zhu Yan was not truly her enemy. She could not bear to see her throw away such power. In that case, I'll stop you. Xiao Xiao, let's decide the winner with one move, Zhu Yan shouted, gripping the Dragon Slayer sword. As her voice fell boundless, Dou-Chi surged like an ocean gathering behind her into a magnificent tidal wave. Unexpectedly, Xiao Xiao showed no intention of restraining herself. Instead, she simply crossed her arms before her chest. Her posture relaxed, her expression calm, almost indifferent. Give up, she said lightly. You are not my opponent. Her voice was neither loud nor forceful, yet it carried an absolute certainty, as if she were merely stating an undeniable truth. Xiao Xiao. Zhu Yan's expression darkened instantly. Even if she had reached the peak of 9-star Dao Sheng, such disregard was unbearable. Even at the peak of 9-star Dao Sheng, you have no right to look down on others. Her grip tightened around the Dragon Slayer sword. With a subtle shift, the heavens trembled. Boom! All the energy between heaven and earth surged violently, gathering toward a single point before her. The sky dimmed. The winds howled. The very space itself seemed to distort. In the blink of an eye, a colossal sword took form, 10,000 zhang in length, forged from pure energy, yet flowing like molten gold, as though it were a divine blade cast from liquid sunlight. The power contained within it was enough to make even distant 9-star Daosheng tremble. Far away, Xiao Chen's expression shifted slightly. Even he felt the pressure. Zhu Yan's eyes were cold. There was no hesitation, no restraint. This was a strike meant to kill, and yet, unknown to all, not far from the battlefield, atop a shattered mountain peak, a lone figure stood silently. A black robe swayed gently in the wind. His posture was relaxed, as though he were merely watching a passing scene. On his handsome face was a faint trace of interest. But when his gaze fell upon Xiao Xiao, something changed. The sharpness in his eyes softened. The pride of the past faded away, replaced instead by a quiet, unmistakable warmth. The gaze of a father. This girl has truly grown. Xiao Yan, the Flame Emperor. He stood there watching silently, as though everything unfolding below was nothing more than a familiar scene. If I had returned any later, he murmured, a faint smile appearing on his lips. She might have chased me all the way to the great thousand world. Then his gaze shifted toward the distant figures of Yao Lao and the others. Across thousands of meters, his eyes met theirs, and in the next instant, his figure slowly faded as though he had never been there at all. High above, the massive golden sword fell. It tore through the sky, carrying the force of destruction. Space split apart in its wake. Facing such overwhelming power, Xiao Xiao did not move. She simply raised her hand and lightly pointed. In that instant, everything stopped. The wind froze. The clouds stilled. Even the flow of energy across heaven and earth halted. The colossal sword hung motionless in mid-air. Chu Yan and Lindian, even their expressions froze. Their eyes widened, yet their bodies could not move. Then a crack appeared. A thin line split across the blade. Then another, and another. In the next moment, shatter. The massive sword exploded into countless fragments, scattering across the sky like golden snow, falling, drifting, shimmering. A breathtaking sight, but no one had the mind to admire it, because behind those fragments, something far more terrifying emerged. An aura, unimaginable, unfathomable. The sky, once divided between purple-gold radiance, began to change. From the other half, a new light spread. 9 colors, brilliant, boundless, overwhelming. It filled the heavens. It suppressed the world. Within that light was a pressure no weaker than that of a Dodi from the Taishu ancient dragon tribe. Zhu Yan's pupils shrank. Yan Lian trembled, because this aura did not come from any secluded clan leader, not from the Yan clan, not from the Lei clan. It came from the woman standing before them, Xiao Xiao. Only now did Zhu Yan finally understand why Xiao Xiao had said those words, why she had shown no concern, why she had remained unmoved from beginning to end. Because she had already stepped into that realm. Dodi, meanwhile, thousands of meters away, Yao Lao and the others suddenly rose to their feet. Their hearts pounded violently. But their gaze was not on Xiao Xiao. It was fixed on a single figure, a man in black robes. Yao Lao's hands trembled slightly. Xiao Zhan's eyes reddened. The elders of the Yan and Lei clans were filled with shock, because they recognized him. The black-robed man stepped forward slightly. He raised his hands and cupped his fists respectfully toward Yao Lao. Then, in a calm, steady voice, he spoke. Teacher, a pause. I'm back. And in that moment, the hearts of those who had waited finally trembled.